Hey everybody, welcome back to DT Dimeflix for another DT toy review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Imperial's 1985 King Kong. As just stated, this was released in 1985 as part of Imperial's very popular monster toy line that they were releasing at that time. That included also Universal monsters like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman. I think the Mummy was part of that line too, and so was Godzilla. This was King Kong. Kong is actually larger than most of the figures in the line. He really towers over the Godzilla that he was released with. He's close to 8 inches. I think he's around the 8-inch mark, if not maybe 7.5. He's pretty big, so he's a good size figure. He was everywhere in the mid 80s all the way to up to the very early 90s. I remember seeing him. I believe I got him in the very early 90s. He came with like a little tag wrapped around his neck and everything like that, but that's been long gone. But he was my very first King Kong figure. Just like the Godzilla, he was very special to me, and he had lots of adventures, lots of fights. I got a lot of playtime with him as a kid. I really enjoyed him. Kong is pretty basic here. He's molded in black plastic, and of course the entire body is pretty much black, as opposed to a few paint apps that appear on the face. There's a lot of cool detail in the mold, actually, or in the sculpt. There's a lot of fine fur and everything like that. Just definitely looks like a freak gorilla, or what have you. Maybe even like a chimpanzee on crystal meth. Who knows? But he is a really fearsome looking Kong. I really like the detail that was put into him. Let's see. Let's take a look at the face a little bit here. Now this is the only part of the body of the overall figure where there's some kind of paint app. You can see the eyes have like a nice, almost like a mint green with black pupils. Really cool looking. Very ominous. Rather awkward paint job choice on the nostrils here, which are very bright red, almost like a lipstick red color, and it appears that his nose is forever bleeding. I don't know, maybe it's just from all the fights he got into. Who knows? Makes him look more like a badass, I think. The teeth have a nice fine white over them, which has been chipped away through the years. And if you look really carefully, he's got a red tongue. Very nice that they went through that kind of length just to make sure he had a nice red tongue. Really like this guy. You can move downward to his very long gorilla arms, which end in really finely detailed fingers. You can see the knuckles in the detail right there, the palms, really cool looking. You can even see fingernails. So yeah, they put a bit of effort into that. Same with this one. And then if you go down right here, you can see the same thing on the feet. Right there. Oh, there's the Imperial toy logo right there. Every Imperial toy has the Imperial toy logo. Pretty cool. Now this really isn't meant to resemble any specific Kong, I guess. This really is just like a generic King Kong. It's just a giant freak gorilla that you would just say, oh, it's King Kong, obviously. A lot of people said, oh, it's supposed to look like the one from 1976. No, it's not. It doesn't really look anything like that one if you've seen that movie. If I were to pick a Kong that this toy resembled most, it would have to be the 1933 original. Especially too when you look at the face very close up, it is very reminiscent of that life-size Kong head that was used for close-up shots for the film. Now, strangely enough, there were a couple of strange sculpting choices. First of all, it's pretty much like two pieces, these two pieces right here that are glued together into one, and then the only points of articulation he has are in his arms, which, that's pretty much Kong's main weapon anyways. He just likes to bash the shit out of his enemies like this. So that's pretty much all you need. Strangely enough, I'd like to note on this, he has man boobs. He has gorilla man boobs, and this part of the sculpt is really like shiny and very smooth, not rough, and there's no hair detail or fur detail like there is in the rest of him. But yeah, he has very strange. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if you're into that thing or not. Whatever cooks your noodle, whatever. But this was ever since I was a kid, I was just like, why does he have boobs? I don't know. He does have pec muscles in the films, but never shiny boobs. Let's turn Kong around back here and go down, and the same sculpting choice was made on his butt. He has a nice shiny ass. Both cheeks are very prominent and can plainly be seen. Again, like the boobs, they are very smooth. I don't know why he has an ass. I just, whatever. Right there on the right cheek, I really can't focus very well. Maybe if I zoom in. Well, that looks really terrible, but it says made in China, so that was rather strange. Right on his ass cheek is just stamped, "You're made in China, bitch." Whatever. As I said, Kong is very large compared to some of the other figures that were released in Imperial's toy line. This was supposed to be its companion figure, this Godzilla right here, which obviously would not be able to win in a fight against Kong. I do know Imperial released several different scales of this Godzilla. I think they did one that was like tall enough to match up to him. I actually have a bootleg of that figure lying around somewhere. It looks very similar to this, except it's larger and a little more vibrantly colored. I'll have to find that. I have no idea where it is. If I do find it, I'm going to review that one. But as for now, this is the other Imperial monster that goes with him. But obviously he can't be paired up with them, so you need to get more creative if you want to. One fun fact about this guy that very few collectors have mentioned is that this Kong does scale remarkably well with Bandai's standard scale monsters that were made in the 1980s and the early 90s. This guy right here is a Bandai Japan figure, the Vinyl of Godzilla, and he scales perfectly with this King Kong. So if you like to get creative with your monster battles, that's a good route to go. They size up pretty well together. This also gives you an idea of how big this Kong figure is. And he even scales fairly well with more recent soft vinyl figures from Bandai. Here's another Godzilla right here, and there's Kong right there. See, definitely matches up pretty good, I think. They could create quite a battle if you want to do something like that. If you want to do a nice little, if you're into monster photography, or if you like to make fan films or anything like that. Overall, Imperial's Kong is one of the more iconic toys that came out of the 1980s. As I said, I actually found him at a store in the very early 90s. I believe I got him for my 6th birthday. My parents knew where it was. I told them, they picked it up, and on my birthday, boom, there he was. So yeah, he's a cool figure. He's a very, very nice, very sturdy. Definitely put up with a lot of crap over the years, especially with the way I used to play with him. He was getting thrown around and dunked underwater. I think I threw him out of a window a couple times when I was a kid. I don't remember, but this guy's had some fun times. And of course, he's since been retired, and he's now displayed on my shelves next to my other giant monster toys, like my Bandai's, and he's surrounded by, you know, NECAs and Monster Arts guys and stuff. So, but yep, definitely one of my favorite childhood figures. Among my other monster toys, I loved all my monster toys as a kid. But this guy, because King Kong was like my gateway monster, he was the one that introduced me to the world of giant monsters and eventually led me to, you know, Godzilla movies and Gamera movies and stuff like that. This figure definitely holds a special place for me. And I don't know, every time I watch the original King Kong, I kind of just like have the urge just to grab him and just kind of just let him chill with me while I enjoy Kong doing his thing, like, you know, carrying off screaming blonde ladies or ripping the jaws of a T-Rex, or maybe even batting airplanes on top of the Empire State Building. This Kong did it all. And I don't know, definitely one that can still be found for fairly cheap. I've seen him going online for less than 25, 30 bucks. Fairly easy to find. So if you don't have one of these and you're a Kong fan or just a giant monster collector, I definitely suggest tracking this guy down. He's definitely worth it. He's pretty cool, and he looks great alongside all the other toys. So that concludes today's review. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why don't you head on down that way and let me know. And if you haven't yet, I recommend that you subscribe for more monster fun. So I'm DT, and thank you so much for watching.